Hello, my name is William Brooks, and this is my gospel story. So, born and raised in a church since the time of birth. We went to church every Sunday night, every Wednesday night. Anytime there was a special meeting, we went to church. And as a child, I remember at the age of 5 making a profession of faith in junior church, sitting on the back row with a couple guys, and during the presentation of the invitation during junior church, we were all kind of joking around and said, "Hey, let's all go get saved together." And I do remember that trip to the altar. I remember going down forward with the other guys, and one of the workers there led us through the Romans Road, led us through a sinner's prayer, and I even remember making that prayer and hinging my salvation on that. A couple years later, I got baptized with my sister, and we got baptized the same night. And so just always, again, raised in church, and just always just took that as my salvation. Fast forward till about, I was about the age 16, and had stepped into a role there at my home church, lead the music, and just involved in the worship there. And I've always loved music, being even involved in the high school band. And I knew God had something greater for my life. And so I had gone to church camp at the age of 18, and the Lord called me. I would say the Lord called me to Bible college. And so I went to Oklahoma Baptist College with some friends, and had been there for a couple of years, and it was kind of struggling with my salvation and doubting my salvation. And we I got on the tour group, and we were over in Choctaw, Oklahoma at another church. And the preacher that evening, again, I was with the tour group, so college student, traveling all over America, singing and presenting the college. And we had gone to this service on a Sunday night, and the message was very simple. The preacher preached out of Noah and the Ark, the story about Noah and the Ark. And at the end of the service, during the invitation, he said, "Well, I've got 3 questions. Question number 1, are you on that boat?" And what he meant was, are you saved? Did you know Jesus Christ as your personal Savior? And I had already, again, been doubting it. And so kind of argued with myself, yeah, you're saved. You go back to when you're 5. And so he said, question number 2, and he goes, it's going to sound redundant, but are you sure you're on that boat? And about that time, conviction set in. And at that moment, I realized the difference of what I would classify as my profession at the age of 5. And at that moment in time, I was under conviction of being lost. And so when I give my testimony, and when I'm sharing the gospel with somebody, I'm always drawn back to that idea of, do they even know they're lost? Because I think that's a key element to getting saved, is knowing that you're lost. And of course, he got to question number 3, and by that time I already knew what he was going to ask. He said, are you sure you're on that boat? And I remember gripping the pew in front of me and saying, Lord, if you'll let me get back to the dorm, back to the college dorm, I'll get this settled. I'll get saved. And I don't know why I made that deal, but the Lord was gracious enough. We jumped back in a vehicle to drive back to the dorm a couple of hours away, and it was storming that night. And in my mind, I was thinking the flood was coming again, and I kept just saying, Lord, let me get back to the dorm. Let me get back to the dorm. And when we got back to the college dorm there in Oklahoma City, I went straight in and knocked on our dorm supervisor's door. And I asked him, I was like, hey, I need to get saved. And he said, come on in. And we knelt down there, and he took the Bible out of Acts chapter 9, the Ethiopian eunuch, and what doth hinder me to be baptized? And he said, it's understanding the scriptures. And so he walked through the plan of salvation with me. And again, this whole time, the conviction from God, knowing that I needed to make this personal, is what stood out as different from when I was 5 years old to when I was 20 years old. And so that night, almost midnight, it was about 11:30 that night, October 21st of 2000, I put my faith and trust in the Lord as my Savior, and went through the dorms. I was always afraid of what everyone was going to think, but I went through the dorms telling everybody that I had just got my salvation settled, and I've just put my faith and trust in the Lord. And that next Wednesday night there at college, I had called my fiance at the time, but I'd called my wife and told her that I'd gotten saved. And so I got baptized that following Wednesday. And to never doubt again. And again, if I were to share one aspect of my testimony with you, is knowing for a fact that I was lost. and knowing for a fact now that I'm saved. And that's my story.